Hey, Ole Miss is back to playing football this week, and they are currently a 33.5-point favorite against the Washington State Cougars. Let's bring in the quarterback to talk all about it.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm your host, Steven Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media and a former Ole Miss staff member. We bring in the former Ole Miss quarterback, John Fourcade, to talk about everything that is going on around the Rebels program before the Washington State Cougars come into town. But first, I do want to say thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen every day. And please give us a like, subscribe, and comment on your way out, and give a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college and pro, is available. You know, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. So, John, one thing that's interesting, we're going to talk about it in tomorrow's podcast, but Lane Kiffin was talking about the defense of this thing. He was in total Lou Holtz mode, to where you're playing the toughest non-conference opponents ever. Lane doesn't necessarily ever do the coach speak stuff, but he was laying it on pretty thick today.
Well, I don't know what more he can lay on. You know, he just needs to win this game, get out of it, and get ready for the the following week's game. So right now, he can say all he wants to say. People can read through everything, and it's for the media people, you and I and everybody else, to go out there and start spreading the rumors and saying this and that. So he's having fun with it. Let him enjoy himself.
Yeah, and they are a good, well-coached team. He did say that they are. The coach at Washington State was the one that built the dynasty at South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits and FCS. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a little time to move that system over, but it is a well-coached football team.
Well, the only issue I see with the fact, you look at Oregon State hasn't won a game yet. You look at Washington State, they're, I think, 3-2, if I'm not mistaken, or 2-3. I lose track of them, but they're still saying they're the Pac-12. Now, let's be honest. They're more or less the group of five. That's where their category should be in. There's no way they're going to give those two guys, Oregon State and Washington State, winner of that division, a free ride into the 12 playoff teams and down the road. They're going to have to understand Washington State, Oregon State, they'll recruit, and now they can win that Pac-12, as you want to call it, if they get the right amount of players and get things going in the South Dakota State coach. He's there for a reason, to try to get them like they were when he was in the FCS. So with all that being said, Stephen, it's still Power 4, and then the rest of them a group of 5 or a group of 6 if you want to lap them in there. But let's be honest. Ole Miss should go into this game, come out healthy, play everybody you can think of, have the trainers dress out, cheerleaders if they like to, win this football game, and then get ready for back in the SEC.
Yeah, because after this Washington State game, it's Georgia in Georgia. Yep. It's Oklahoma at Oklahoma. It gets real after this game. So in a sense, this is a trap game of sorts. The last time, like, Tulane was a trap game before LSU. This is going to kind of test the resolve of Ole Miss and kind of their maturity of being able to handle business before you get to Georgia.
Let me just say this. If they're pretty much 100%, you should play a bunch of your backups in this second half or whatever. If they jump out in a good lead, and it's quite a bit of a lead where Washington State shouldn't come back and beat you, I would say middle of the second half, great opportunity to let Simmons get back in and play some. And hear me on this. The reason I say that is Georgia's right down the street. If you could pull some of your starters, and right now we think Trinidad is the guy that's going to go in the Georgia Bulldog game, but it doesn't hurt to put Simmons back in if he's healthy to get some reps. If not, to play the third quarterback, because you can't have Trinidad still playing when you're beating the team by 30 or 40 points just to, pad his stats and win. You're not trying to win a Heisman for the kid. You're trying to win national championship, get your team in the playoffs. You lose this quarterback, then you're in trouble because Simmons hasn't really done anything yet this year. Now, granted, we all know what he can do, but now you got to go against the big boys, the Georgias, the Oklahomas. It's coming on down the road. So let's get a good lead, let everybody else play, and sit back. If you win by 20, great. You win by 40, it's even better. But who cares? Win the game. People will say, well, you only won by 20, 25. Yeah, because we're resting our players, getting ready for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, and, the funny thing is, Ole Miss is – right now they're sitting at about 4th in the country, which means that style points don't matter anymore. Just win the game. If you win by 1 point every game the rest of the season, you're going to win the SEC and get a bye in the playoff.
Well, let me just say this. I don't think playing in the SEC championship means as much now as it did in the past when you only had 4 teams playing for a national championship. Yeah, it's great to win the SEC championship. And then, you got to play an extra game. It's all about the money. You know that as well as I do. They can do without the game and, get ready for the playoffs. But with all that being said, I think Lane's realizing this. Hey, look, man, we want to be one of 12. I don't want to be fighting to get in the doggone SEC championship game and say you lose and you have another loss on your record. Let's just say you got 2 losses or you got 1 loss and you lose the SEC championship game. 1, you're probably going to be beaten up playing an extra game. 2 is there ain't no guarantee they're going to take a certain amount of numbers. And my number right now is I see, and I'll fight this for anybody, I see 5 SEC teams making the 12 playoffs.
Yeah, I hear that actually a pretty good bit right now going into it. I think 5 of the top 10 or something like that are SEC teams at the moment.
That's what they you got A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss. You got Missouri, Oklahoma,
Tennessee.
Yeah. You want to stop? So, I mean, you got 7 or 8 teams probably in the top 12 right now that could – I mean, you got to fill them with the right schools, and there's no rules that says, oh, I got to take 3 or 4 Big Ten. I got to take 3 or 4 ACCs. It's the best 12 teams in the country. Now, granted, best 11 because they got to throw that 12th one. It has to be the group of 5, which, there might be a dark horse team in there. And great, that's fine. Give them, throw them a bone, let them get in there. But 11 of the best teams in the country better be the best teams in the country. Don't tell me because if you got 5 SEC teams, we got to make sure we get at least 4 Big Ten, because if they even thinking about Penn State, that's a joke. And Michigan, the only the 2 teams that are the best teams in the Big Ten right now, Oregon and Ohio State. The rest of them.
And right now, Indiana, after what they did to Illinois.
Right.
I mean,
okay. I'm going to say Indiana now, but they're about to play some teams that, if they end the year on 1 loss or maybe 2 losses, But if you got 15 teams with 2 losses, you better look at the schedule of play and enough with all this. Oh, you got that from the Big Ten. There's only going to should be 1 team, maybe 2 with the ACC, maybe 2, depends on how that falls out. Big 12 ain't but 1 team I can count in the Big 12. So that's 3 teams there. Then you got, you got 1 Power 5. That's 4. So 4 teams. You got 8 left. Do you go 4-4? Do you go 5-3? And I'm telling you right now, the SEC should get no less than 4, and I can see 5.
All right. We're going to talk to the quarterback whenever we come back after this about, I don't know, all of this sunshine that happened after the month of September for Ole Miss football. So stick around for that. But first, I do want to let you know Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus powered by Peloton IQ. It is their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. Whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan and stay motivated and reach peak performance. Also, the swivel screen, that's kind of a game changer. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training, all without missing a single beat. And the personalized class recommendation, help keep you engaged. You get workouts tailored to your vibe and energy level each and every single week. So let yourself run, lift, and flex. Push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video down below. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcatcher you're listening to and give it a 5-star review. It costs nothing, but it helps keep everything free. If you want more, join the Insiders program on the subtext link down below. No trolls, 14-day free trial, and the easiest way ever to cancel. So give that a try. And don't forget to check out our second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, they're ready for you. All you have to do is hit them up. All right, John, listen. In the month of September, Ole Miss went 5-0. They won 3 Southeastern Conference games. They are ranked 4th in the country. They got a commitment from a top 10 quarterback in the 2027 class. September was a great month, and this is about as close as Ole Miss could come to winning the bye week.
Yeah, and, before we get started, I forgot to mention 3 other schools in the SEC. Vandy, 1 loss, but they'll end up with 4. Texas, they'll probably end up with 3 or 4. They out of it. You gotta keep it track. LSU's still in this, even though they got beat by Ole Miss. All right, let's get back to what you're talking about. The month of September was fantastic for the Rebels, but the month of October is where they got to do it all, because you got to win October to get to November. And I think that the games they got coming up with the Georgia Bulldogs at Oklahoma, it doesn't get any easier. They have to play this. I hate to say this now, but they're in a playoff mood now, because the best thing that happened from Steve, they're 5-0, they're undefeated. They can lose 2 football games and still make the 12 best teams in the country. So that's pretty much the mindset of everybody who's coaching teams that are undefeated. Hey, we can lose 2 games and probably still get in the playoff. That's Lane Kiffin's deal, because you're in the SEC. 2-loss SEC team will get you probably still in the conference. I mean, in the college football series.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting, and I'm curious because we have to see how the SEC shakes out, because you named 9 teams or so that have a legitimate shot to get to that 2 losses to be relevant in the playoff situation. Is it going to be A&M? Now, it's not going to be Texas, as anything I saw against Florida. It's not going to be Texas. But, Tennessee, if they win against Alabama, all of a sudden it opens up for them. Does Florida play spoiler with some of the teams they have to go up against because they play at Texas A&M this weekend? Listen, there's so much drama that's going to be built to the end of this football season. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be really good, right?
Yeah, I look at it this way. This weekend, Alabama's at Missouri. What Missouri team is going to show up? I still like Alabama. I think Alabama's playing some outstanding football. You got to like what Missouri has done so far. I mean, what's going to happen when it gets to November and you still have quite a few SEC teams, maybe 5 or 6 with 1 loss, maybe 2 or 3 of them with no losses. So it could be a situation where process eliminated. If Ole Miss beats Georgia, that's 2 losses. They can't lose another game. If Alabama loses another game, that's 2 losses. What happens there? They can't lose another game. So it becomes a situation when you do lose that second game, you're pretty much saying we can't lose another game if we want to sneak in, because they're not taking a 3-loss team, because there'll be too many 2 losses from other schools. Ohio State might be the only team I think that could go undefeated this year because of the easy scheduling that they play, and the Big Ten doesn't scare anybody. But the SEC, man, you're looking at 3 or 4 teams with 0 losses right now. It's going to come down to it. Somebody's going to slip up and lose a game here or there. Georgia could be a team. Florida could be a team that can say, we're out of it. We'll go and beat somebody. Is Texas A&M really in the top 8 team in the country? They squeaked by on a penalty that should have been called for holding the Notre Dame game. Look, I'm all for it. It wasn't called. Tough luck. Notre Dame should have beat them. They didn't. A&M doesn't really scare me. Beat Auburn. Auburn's an average team at best, and they barely squeaked by 6 points there. Is A&M? Nah, I don't think so. I think it's Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. LSU still got a shot at it. You got to give Missouri a crack at it too. So there's about 6 teams that scare me in the SEC, and 4 or 5 might make it.
Listen, this is a very real possibility. Let's say Alabama goes up to Columbia, Missouri, and they lay an egg, and Missouri wins that game. Then Alabama comes home the next week and plays against Tennessee and beats Tennessee. Both of them are going to have 2 losses at that point. And I mean, they are going to be completely locked down the rest of the season and have to win all the rest of their games. And it's not like they're playing the weak sisters of the poor over there for the last 5 games.
No, it's a fact that everybody as well as Steve, between here and the end of the year, they got a cupcake team. I mean, they got everybody on the schedule in the SEC. It has a cupcake. Now, it's going to change next year, but we can't worry about next year. This year, you got to play who's on your schedule. They have to get into this game about the 3rd week or the 2nd week in November. The Alabamas, the Georgias, the Missouris, the LSUs, the Ole Miss team. You better have 1 or 2 losses, and you better fight your way to the end. Because if you have 2 losses with 3 weeks left and the season's still there, and you got to hope, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose. We can't lose because that will knock us out. And that pretty much tells you it's not waiting until the end of the season to let somebody go in their room with all these other, this team's out because whatever. And then they start nitpicking things. Yeah, we can all nitpick everybody's scheduling. We can nitpick this, that, and the other. But you tell me right now, the 5 best teams in the Big Ten against the 5 best teams in the SEC, and I'll go with one good team, I think, right now. You can say Indiana all you want. They still haven't really played. Illinois, come on. Illinois is okay. They're not nothing to brag. It's the Ohio State and Oregon. That's the 2 teams. I'm not sold on Michigan. We all see how bad Penn State is. Indiana, okay. Then you look at the SEC. You can go through the SEC, like I said, 5, 6, 7 teams. Look at the ACC. Clemson ain't going to get in it. We already know that. Miami and Florida State's the only other 2 teams you can possibly. Georgia Tech, I don't see that happening. So, we won't know until November. But right now, you and the SEC, or you got to get through. October is the main month. That's when everybody's starting to play, because more of the easy cupcakes, they'll have a cupcake team in November. But you're not seeing that in October. Now, Washington State's playing Ole Miss at Ole Miss. I don't see that being a screw up there, and knock on wood. But we'll figure it all out. It's one game at a time, Lane. That's all right. Don't worry about anybody else. You went out, you're in. You went out, you go 1 loss, you're in. Ole Miss goes 2 losses, I still think they're in.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. All right, when we come back, we will look at some of the betting lines for this week in college football. We're talking to the quarterback, John Fourcade, so stick around. All right. This episode is brought to you by Square, your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that make the neighborhood, the neighborhood. These are places that have become an extension of home, whether it's the sports bar that's dedicated to your team's fan base, or the spot with the best wings in town for game day and Grove tailgating, or maybe that beloved local chain that has been rooted in your community for years. These businesses are what bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. There is a spot in Oxford that has been the heart of that community for me for years. The kind of place where you walk in and everybody knows your name. No, I'm not talking about Cheers. I'm talking about Phillips Grocery. It's a pretty cool establishment that might have the best burgers in all of Oxford. And you know what else they are? They're on Square. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, please go support your favorite local neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. And also, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets to use around the app if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many different ways to play. I've built parlays. I've tried player props. I've even follow the live lines during games. It makes watching football even a little bit more exciting when you got a little something extra riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, John, let's talk about some of the lines that are out there. It's going to be a good SEC week this week. The big game to me is Georgia and Auburn. Georgia's favored by 4.5 points. I think this feels like a Hugh Freeze special. There's always that one game a season when that team comes out ready to go. It's Cam Newton night. It's a night game at Jordan-Hare. Auburn's an incredibly tough place to play. I like Auburn in this game.
Well, I think Georgia knows that they got to win out. Auburn is at home, and, Hugh Freeze is thinking right now that if I keep losing, I'm going to be looking for another job at the lower conferences. But it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a close game. I'm not going to play that game. I think that's one that I'll stay away from. But I do see where Auburn could possibly not win, but maybe cover the game. I'm not going to bet that one. There's a few other ones I like. I'm really intrigued about the Oklahoma versus Texas. Will the quarterback for Oklahoma be available to be able to play in this game? They're playing it, not at a home site, so it's in basically Dallas. So that's a big difference. I do like the Oklahoma Sooners if the quarterback's playing. If not, I would have to lean a little bit toward Texas. There's some other games that look intriguing, and I'm definitely going to play some of the SEC games this weekend.
LSU favored by 9.5 points over South Carolina. Is that surprising to you?
It's a little bit of surprising. I think if Sellers is on his game, he's not the greatest thrower, but he can kill you with his feet. That's almost a 10-point. I'd bump it up to 10 and take South Carolina. LSU's offense is just disgusting. There's something wrong with Nussmeier. He's not played well. He's injured from what I'm hearing. They hope to get out of this game without him, getting much more banged up, but he's down a little bit with his injuries. No running game at LSU. The defense is still solid. It was a game that they played last week or 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss where they defense didn't play bad, but it didn't play great, but it's still a great defense. So I might have to take that 10. I might have to bump it to 10 and take South Carolina.
Yeah, that's interesting. Then Texas A&M is favored by 8.5 points over Florida. Listen, John, if the Florida team that played against Texas running the ball and controlling that and playing defense like that, that's way too many points.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Texas A&M doesn't show me like they're a killer of teams, and barely beat Auburn by 6, barely beat Notre Dame, come back at the end. Like I said, probably should have lost that game. They're not showing me anything on the offensive side of the football. But the key is this. Can Lagway play a little bit like he did against the weekend against Texas? Because he's definitely want to give A&M about 3 picks if you don't watch how he throws the football. It's a game where I got to take the points only because I think Florida, their backs against the wall for their head coach. And if they don't decide to do something with this Florida football club, they'll be looking for a new head coach at the end of the season. But A&M doesn't scare me. They're not beating people. They're winning, but they're not really destroying anybody like Ole Miss has done in Alabama and Georgia.
And finally, Alabama's favored by 4.5 points over Missouri. Alabama, for most of this season, Florida State took them apart running the football. Missouri can do a little bit of that as well, but Alabama against Vanderbilt, they kind of tightened that up in the second half. Was that the anomaly, or do they still have the problem stopping the run?
Well, I think they had a couple of players for Alabama that didn't quite play in that game or wasn't at full strength against the Vanderbilt team. And Vanderbilt don't scare me. The quarterback's just a lot of mouth. And I think Alabama can go in here to Missouri. Missouri's got a good quarterback. They got a good running attack. But I think there's something about Alabama right now. That coach has got them lit up knowing that we don't lose another game or, we can slip up one more. But I think they'll take it to Missouri. Missouri's in the to me, this is their biggest battle so far. I know they played a game a couple of weeks ago that they fought hard and came back and they won that game, but I see Alabama covering and winning this game.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that Missouri just hasn't played a road game yet.
Well,
at this point, they still haven't played a road game. So we'll see with Missouri and Alabama.
Ole Miss has got 8 home games,
Yeah. Hey, it happens from time to time. Anyway, what do you got going on, John?
I'm flying out at 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to Cabo. I'll be in Cabo all the way through the 14th. My birthday is next Saturday, the 11th. I mean, actually this weekend, the 11th of October, I will be 35 again. And so I'm going to celebrate my 65th birthday in Cabo, play a little golf, chill out on the beach, and then enjoy it. But we'll chat up next Monday, and hopefully that the Rebels take care of business. But, I mean, I love Cabo. I've been going there probably 12 of the last 15 years.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting, and good luck, and happy birthday being 29 again. Or
yep.
I'm
under 30, huh?
Yeah. Have a good time, enjoy it, and we'll test out the hotel Wi-Fi.
There you go.
Coming out next Monday, so it should be a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you for stopping by, John, and we'll talk to you next week, bud.
Okay, Steven, howdy toddy.
Howdy toddy. All right, thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. Don't forget to subscribe, like, or comment. It helps the show, and it's absolutely free. Your support means the world to us. In another big moment for Locked On, college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff. It's your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's panel of local experts. A college football preview that only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Howdy toddy, everyone, and remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.